glorify you, Jesus. Magnify you, Lord. You're worthy of the glory, Lord.
The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Last week we concluded with the fact that to never let the pathway to a destination alter the view of the destination when you get there. And these things that we're looking at concerning our brains and concerning the function of the brain and why that's so important for our faith. As we look at this more in depth today, again, like I told you last week, this is so that we can face all of the things that everybody has to face, yet still keep it kingdom while you're facing. And again, I was off this week and relaxing, and y'all know I don't do that too awful much, but during that relaxation, I had a section of time about Tuesday, or actually it was Wednesday, that I had spent roughly almost 4.5 hours on the phone between two separate families. And as I spent that time on the phone, one of my longtime friends, it's actually younger than me, 43, suffered a heart attack. And that's not what you expect to hear. That's not the kind of information that you're thinking is going to happen especially from people younger than you. And then I got another phone call, and they were dealing with some stuff going on in their relationship, their marriage. Through with that, and by the time I had completed all of the time on the phone, they were better, but I wasn't, and I didn't understand why. I still had things swirling through my head, and there was another friend that I had not heard from in quite some time that it was on my mind. And in thinking, about that friend, I finally broke down this morning and made some contact. And what I found out after making the contact, I did not like. I was ready to suit up and go handle an enemy. That was my thought process, because I don't like it when I know that children of God, followers of God, believers in God, are stifled to the point that they can't function. That bothers me. That bothers me tremendously. And once I knew of this friend, and they're not just a friend, they're a good friend. I call them good friends. In dealing with that and having that thought process, that is when it really began to dawn on me, this is why I have to be teaching what I'm teaching about the brain. Because when you start to get duped into thinking that you have no other out but the way that the world handles things, you've been duped. You've been duped. When you think that the only way for you to handle things, and we have a Savior, we have somebody that's already experienced all of the things that we could experience in life, walked through them and said, be of good cheer, because I have overcome the world. The fact that we have somebody that's already walked that out and then laid out the information on how to do it in His Word, we got some developing to do. we truly got some developing to do. And the fact that we haven't been fully developed mentally, because remember when Paul said, When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So that means there was some development that had to happen with him that gave him the ability to say, okay, I got to put this stuff away. That's the mentality we got to have when we start getting those thoughts to come in to us believing that the only way for us to handle something is the world's way. We got to know how to put that away. That's got me leading into, because I know last week some of y'all thought that I was kind of rough on you. Y'all thought that I was y'all thought that I was a little bit relentless. But today really ain't gonna be no better. Today's really not gonna be any better. It's only gonna have more depth to it so that you can understand, because last week we were looking at the basal ganglia part of the brain, and this week we're gonna look at what's called the deep limbic system. That's DEEP LIMBIC and system. And that's why we looked at Psalm 42. Psalm 42, beginning at verse 1, it is where we want to start, because I want to begin to show you exactly how God's addressing each of these systems as in our brains as we're looking at our scriptures. Because in Psalm 42, beginning at verse 1, it says, as the hart, and that's meaning deer, as the deer panteth after the water brooks, so panteth my what? Soul after thee, O God. Now remember, we're talking about the soul of our season right now. We're talking about you having the right mentality about your time and the things that you're supposed to be doing. So if you have the right mentality about your time and the things that you're supposed to be doing, that's what's then going to begin to produce the results that God's got designed for you as an individual. That's why I'm always reminding you about your fingerprint. Nobody else has a fingerprint like yours. Not your family, not your children, not your fathers, not your mother, not anybody that lives, not anybody that's died, not anybody that's going to start living is going to have a fingerprint like yours. Nobody. So that means you are distinct in character, okay? There's nobody like you. And that's important for you to keep in mind all the time. Very important for this part of the message when I start showing you that you're not like anybody else, okay? And understanding that, watch the next part of this. Watch verse 2. It says, my soul, okay, my mind, my will, and my emotions thirsteth for God, for the living God. That's important, okay? Because it says, when shall I come and appear before God? My tears have been my meat day and night. My tears have been my meat day and night. Watch this. While they continually say unto me, where is your God? See, that's letting you know, and that's beginning to establish your mentality to help you understand that it's a normal thing for your haters to be around you. It's a normal thing. It's supposed to happen. God's wanting those who are around you to taunt you sometime. See, because here's the deal. You ain't gonna get mentally tough enough until you learn how to fight back properly. So the only way for you to learn how to do that is he got to let you get a couple of licks every once in a while. From some folk that don't like you. From some folk that don't love you.